Say, man, you see my crab cakes? Till I'm all alone. If you see my crab case, tell her things went wrong. Don't call on the phone and bring a black draw home. A little tartar too. Come on, little girl, tell me what you want to do. Them Maryland crab cakes are the best in town. Them Maryland crab cakes are the best in town. So come on, baby, let's get Louisiana down. If you see my crab cake, have you seen my crab cake? If you see my crab cake, tell I'm all alone. Tell her I still love her, and when she come back home.
It's now time for Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. It began as a podcast, went live on the net, and transformed into a full-blown empire. Across the web, on Fight Now TV, and on radio stations around the world. It's the only daily boxing talk radio show on the planet, hosted by the only guy with the balls to do it. Many have stepped into the ring. Many have tried to take the belt, and one by one, they've fallen. Another victim of the undisputed heavyweight champion of boxing talk radio. Talkin' Boxing with Billy C is on now.
My style is impetuous, my defense is impregnable, and I'm just ferocious. I want your heart.
We're coming to you live from the Billy C studio in Lake George, New York. I'm Bill Cowler, and it's time for Talking Boxing with Billy C. Good morning, good day, good evening, whenever you listen. I hope you're doing all right. Busy show scheduled for today and the rest of the week. Don't forget the show's being brought to you in part by Cat's nationwide luxury transportation service. If you're looking for a limo and you're someplace in the United States, you need to give Cat's nationwide luxury transportation service a call. 202-351-7496. That's 202-351-7496. And don't forget Cat's nationwide luxury transportation service, the official limo service of this year's BillyCBoxing Hall of Fame induction weekend, which is scheduled for November 16th, 17th, and 18th. Make your plans now. We're going to be kicking off a much bigger promotional campaign as soon as this weekend's International Boxing Hall of Fame festivities are over. So stay tuned for that, and you'll be hearing a lot more about what's going on and who's going to be there and all that happy stuff after this weekend. And we got some other stuff going on this weekend, too. We'll talk about it a little bit later. But give my girl Kat a call. Just remember, she's my girl. 202-351-7496. 202-351-7496. And this show is also being brought to you in part by Campanaro and Tomkovich. If you're looking for a lawyer, use the ones that keep me out of trouble. And that's Campanaro and Tomkovich, whether it's contractual law, maybe matrimonial issues. I don't know, man. Maybe you robbed a bank or something. You need a lawyer. Give them a call, 845-221-4099. 845-221-4099. Let Campanaro and Tomkovich knock out your legal problem. 845-221-4099. Tell them Billy C sent you, and tell them I said I'll pick up the consultation fee. They love that. 845-221-4099. And, of course, my friends over at the Halftime Bar and Grill, Route 9, South Glens Falls. Check them out if you're coming up for a visit in the Lake George area, or whether you live around there. Stop by and see them over at the Halftime Bar and Grill. Great people, great food, and drink specials, too. So call ahead if you want, 518-792-4869. Don't forget, we're there generally every Friday night when ESPN decides to have a Friday night fights. We will not be there this weekend because we're going to be up at the Hall of Fame, so hang tight on that. I'll get into that in a sec. But, the outdoor part of the facility is open now, and I was talking to the owners over the weekend. They were like, man, the outdoor section is rocking now that the weather's nice. You got like it's almost like two separate entities. You got the outdoor tiki bar and all that stuff going on, and then inside with the big screen TVs everywhere. So call ahead if you want directions, all that happy stuff. 518-792-4869. Tell them Billy C sent you. Just leave my chocolate bar alone, all right? They have this huge chocolate bar. He better have still put aside for me. It's a Snickers bar. The thing looks like a baseball bat. So maybe you two can get one if you're as fat a bastard like me. Okay? 518-792-4869. Halftime Bar and Grill. All right, a couple things before we get into our mailbag, which consists of all the emails. Don't forget about the premium subscription. That's right. If you want to listen to the show whenever you want, if you want to be, we're losing control out of everything, right? If you want to control when you listen to this show, maybe on your way to work, maybe while you're working out, maybe while you're sitting through your daughter's ballet class, which, you're trying to stay awake, you just smile and nod and listen to our show. All that stuff, man. Plus have access to all the past shows and all that other happy stuff, all our specials. Well, then you need to be a premium subscriber. It's $15 a year. If you sign up for the one that's $15 a year, you can't beat it. We were talking about that the other day. You can't even go into a bar and buy 2 beers and tip the bartender for $15. And you'll guzzle those down in 2 seconds. You get a year's worth, 10 hours a week minimum of boxing content. So do that now. www.talkinboxing, TalkinBoxing.com to sign up today. I also want to give a special thanks to my man Curon. You've heard us talk about him a lot. He does a lot of stuff for the show behind the scenes. Never wants to get any recognition. I've tried to get him to come on the show. I've tried to get him to do all kinds of stuff, and he's been doing it for a long, long time. Great guy. He's over in England. And once again, he saves the day. He put together a flyer for me to bring up to our table at the International Boxing Hall of Fame this weekend. So I have to thank my man Curon for working so quickly. I know he's got an actual life outside of the Talking Boxing with Billy C show. So thanks, man. You saved my ass again. Speaking about the Hall of Fame, I got several emails about, hey, how come you haven't mentioned anything about the International Hall of Fame? You going up? Are we having a get-together? Are we doing this, doing that? Every year we usually go up and we, most of the time, have a Billy C get-together where the listeners and anybody involved with the show, whoever we kind of bump into, and we schedule something for, it used to be Thursday nights. This year I'm not going up on Thursday night. I have some obligations. I wasn't even going to go at all. But then people shamed me into going. So I decided to make some plans. However, the Manny Pacquiao fight is Saturday night, which is the during the weekend, Hall of Fame weekend. So I have the Fight Now post-fight show that we're going to be doing immediately following the Manny Pacquiao fight this weekend. So I am not able to stay up at the Hall of Fame. However, I will be there on Friday. You can find my fat ass at the Sausage and Pepper tent, the Carmen Basilio Sausage and Pepper tent, starting probably around 1 o'clock on Friday. And I'll be hanging out there until they got to roll my fat ass away. And then what we usually do is if you come by, we'll gather there. And if anybody wants to do something, if there's enough people, we will put together a get-together right then. It will probably be Friday night. And we've got a couple of ideas going on. So depending upon how many people care and want to do it, I mean, if nobody shows up, I'll just stuff my face with S&Ps, and that's it. Me and Alex will do whatever, because I know he's going to be there. And we got some stuff we're going to be talking about. So, Sausage and Pepper Tent, I'll be there definitely Friday, starting in the afternoon, probably around 1, 2 o'clock the latest. So swing by there. Don't know where I'm going to be after that, but I do know on Saturday morning I will be at the card show. I love the card show. And as a matter of fact, Clay Moyle has a table that he'll be selling his newest book, the Billy Miskey book, and I'll be joining him at the table, and we'll be giving some information away about the show, and we'll have some sign-up sheets and all that stuff. So why don't you swing by that? Look for us at the card show. So that's what's going on there. Don't forget about the event that I'm going to be doing in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Holly Holm against Ann Sophie Mathis, the second one. That's taking place June 15th. You'll be able to get it on the internet, so stay tuned for more info on that. Also, we are doing a pro boxing event at the Whitehall Athletic Club. That's going to be July 20th, and the main event is going to be my girl, man, my main girl. That's right. We're going to have Chevelle Halbach as the main event, world champion fighter, pound for pound, top female fighter. She's going to be on that card, and we'll get you the rest of the lineup later on in this week. We're putting together the card now. So, hey, we got the poll question going on, and I'll give you an update. We need you to vote. Where do you think we should be doing this show live out of? There's 6 choices, and right now, Las Vegas and where we're doing it from right now, Lake George leads the pack at 30.8%. They're both tied at 30.8%. And then in second place so far is Albuquerque, New Mexico, and New York City. They're both tied at 15.4%. South Florida, 7.7%. And with 0 votes, Chicago, 0 votes. So cast your vote. Where do you think we should be doing this show from live? There's a reason for this. So go cast your vote now. It's going to be up there all this week as well. This week's Blast from the Past is going to feature Peter Jackson. We didn't get a chance to do it last week because we had the big storm and knocked our power out, knocked the studio down, and didn't knock it down, obviously, but knocked the power out of it. We didn't have power for 30 hours, and as a result, we could not get Alex on the telly, and we did not do it. So we're going to be redoing it this week, Wednesday, Peter Jackson. So make sure you stick around for that. First email out of the mailbag is from Chef Aid 172, I think. Chef Aid 172. And he says, or she says, whoever, this ID says, what happened to the crab cake song? In case you missed Friday's show, I played a Low Society. The band is called Low Society. I played their song instead of our traditional crab cakes, which has kind of been, kind of made it's like our theme song all of a sudden, crab cakes. But don't worry, I played it today. So thanks for Chef Aid 172 for that email. Out of control troll. That's cool. Says, Mayweather goes to jail. No worries when he gets out. He'll still be a multimillionaire. Yeah, I know. Obviously that's my. I'm taking it as a knock on me because I was so happy that Floyd went to jail. I know he's a millionaire. hey, I don't take anything away from his successes in the bank account, and I even believe that he's going to keep it all. Most people think he's going to lose it all, but I think he's going to keep it all after his days are up. But I got some more on Floyd Mayweather and his jail, which really irks me, but that's coming up a little bit later on the show. But right now, I got to take a break.
If you're in upstate New York and you need a trucking company, then you need Roselli Enterprises. Roselli Enterprises is trucking at its finest. They have it all. Dump trucks, dump trailers, walk-in floors, flatbeds, flowboys, tankers, loaders, and a full line of roll-off containers for any job, big or small. Roselli Enterprises is also the source for all your sand, gravel, and topsoil needs. Visit them on the web at RoselliTrucking.com or call 315-433-5115. That's 315-433-5115 and tell them Billy C sent you.
Are you ready, America? Then let's get it on with Fight Now TV. It's time, fight fans. Your channel has arrived. All the fights, all the names, all the action. From world-class boxing events to mixed martial arts showdowns and other combat sports matchups, Fight Now TV delivers the hits and more. Call your television provider and tell them you want to get it on with Fight Now TV. For more details, go to fightnow.com.
We've got a great matchup tonight. Fighting out of the left corner is the #1 ranked contender.
No, he is not.
I'm sorry, but who are you?
I am the IDO computer. I am programmed to provide only fair and unbiased boxing rankings. This fighter is the #15 ranked contender.
Fair and unbiased boxing rankings? That's a new concept.
Actually, it is not. The IDO has provided unbiased computerized rankings for many years.
Well, we've still got a great fight tonight, folks. In the left corner is the #15 ranked contender.
The IBO, the champion of integrity. Learn more at IBOBoxing.com.
Check out BillyCBoxing.com now, or feel the wrath of the mighty mustache.
Oh, that hurts. Why are you doing that to my face? I hate you.
That's BillyCBoxing.com. Consider this your warning.
As a young boy, all Billy C dreamed about was one day having his own catchphrase.
And we're back. And we're back.
One boy, one dream, one day, everyone will say.
And we're back. 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 And we're back.
Catchphrase coming soon to a theater near you.
And we're back. You're listening to the Talking Boxing with Billy C radio show. We're in the middle of reading the emails from the mail bag. So make sure you, it's a good thing to be involved with the show. Interact. If you have a thought, if you agree with us, disagree, or don't have something that we're not even talking about, if you want to bring something up, maybe start a conversation, drop us an email, man. It's that simple. Billy@talkingboxing.com. That's TALKINBOXING.com, or any other avenues that you can leave a message. I got a message from Jake Evans. We'll just call him Jay. He says, it would be great if you could post your top 20 all-time heavyweights just so all this Larry Holmes nonsense stops. I have him and Marciano rated at the same level. The funny thing about it is when you look at Marciano and Larry Holmes, it would be hard to say that Rocky Marciano, although I have Marciano rated higher, it would be hard to say that he had more skill than Larry Holmes. I mean, Larry Holmes had the skill. Yeah, he was just a fighter. I'm starting to soften up on him. And I really liked his comments the other night, which I'll get to a little later. Well, I'll say it right now. They asked him. He was at the fights, the NBC fights, the NBC Sports Network fights, and they asked him, and he was dead on. He says, they're not teaching the fighters the right stuff anymore. Nobody's learning how to throw a jab, and that's what sets everything up. And he's right. And we've talked about that a lot about the lack of teachers that we have. Now, I'm not technically, personally, I'm not a big fan of teachers, but when it comes to boxing, we do need some teachers. We need what we have is rah-rah men. That's what we got now. We got rah-rah men that are all, pumping iron and stuff, and go out there and beat them up. That's the kind of instruction we get. Jay also says, I'd rather see grass grow than watch Andre Ward fight. I don't know what all the hype's about him. He couldn't knock me out. He's just a mini Klitschko with all the clinching. Now, Jay, this is sort of like the way I looked at Larry Holmes. I think Andre Ward is a talented fighter. He's shown me everything. I just and he, at times he's exciting, but I just don't think he has it. The charisma, whatever that it is. I don't think he has it. He also says about the. In response to my ESPN stuff and all the negativity, he says you go there and that's all they write is negative stuff and blah blah blah. The problem is that you're right. It seems that every time somebody writes about boxing, it's the negative stuff, or you don't hear about the good guy stuff. You don't hear about the good feel good stories, but you do hear about the negativity, and I think a lot of people associate negative stuff with boxing, and it's unfortunate, but that's not anything new. It's something that's been going on. And finally, he says, according to the experts, boxing is the only sport where the past greats beat the current greats. What does that say about the sport? That is just a conversation piece, because in the sport of boxing, and I believe it's like that with every sport. We have a tendency to look back especially when you get older. I'm not saying when you're as old as me, but when you get older, you start reflecting on your youth and your heroes and the fighters that you watched, and they become better. Case in point, there's most people today that are old enough will tell you that the best heavyweight era was the late 60s and early 70s, and it's hard to deny that when you start naming the names, the Muhammad Ali's, the Joe Frazier's, the Sonny Listons, the list goes on. Even the guys that didn't win titles, like Jerry Quarry and fighters like that. Zora Foley. You can go on and on, and the funny thing about that is during that era, when that era was the current one, the one that, in the early 70s, the old timers were saying, oh man, these guys are nothing like they were in the 40s and 50s, so it's all relative. And we do that with other sports. I'm a Joe Namath fan. To me, there was nobody better than him. And the truth of the matter is athletically, the boxers today are way more athletic than they were back in the day. Now, that doesn't mean that they would have beat the old timers, but if you take and that's why some people are so adamant about not putting these dream matchups, like my man Tony Treem. He's I don't like doing that. Unless somebody invents a time machine, we can't. And then if you say, well, you got to take a heavyweight of yesteryear and put him today, well, then that means he's going to be having all the benefits of nutrition and training techniques and all the things that we know today that we did not know previously. And guess what you end up with? The same heavyweight you have today, right? So that's a tough one. But thanks for the comments, Jay. Appreciate it. Errol Jarrett says, thumbs down to you, Billy C., wishing Floyd go to jail. Hey, sorry, man. I just can't stand when people get special treatment. Floyd Mayweather, aside, in my opinion, aside from his talent inside the ring, which, again, I got to give credit where credit's due, my man George, and he said it best to me one time in one of our email arguments. He said, listen, I don't care what the guy does outside the ring. I judge him by what he does in the ring. And in the ring, fine. Outside the ring, in the ring, he's, a great fighter. And I don't use the word great generally until after a fighter retires, but in his case, you gotta. But outside the ring, he's a scourge of the earth, in my opinion, anyway. I mean, he's just a guy that is not a good example of a human being. You wouldn't want someone, with the exception of his bank account, you wouldn't want your kid to grow up and act like Floyd Mayweather. At least I wouldn't. But anyway, thanks for that. Errol also says Golden Boy's been trying to beat James Kirkland from James Kirkland versus Alfredo fight. You're right about them wanting James to lose that fight. Now he's talking about the James Kirkland actually being fed they wanted to feed him to Saul Alvarez. Now I'll hold that thought. I know Errol wrote this. This came in on Friday, but there's been some changes with that. We're going to get to that in a little bit. But thanks for the emails, Errol. Keep them up. We also have Electric Deca. I don't even know what this one is. I can't even see. Man, this is a tough one to even pronounce. But ELCES. Oh, El Caesar Decabronze. I don't know, man. El Caesar Decabron says Canelo versus Urslandi Lara, biatch. Yeah, I like that fight. I agree with you, whoever you are. But thanks for taking the time to email us. We also got my man Bigaback. Bigaback says, you are right about Ward. He doesn't have the it factor. He doesn't have the factor where if you see him for the first time, you wouldn't think he's anything special. Doesn't have his own unique style like Roy or Pryor or James Toney or Sergio. That said, I would rather see him fight a quality fighter than seeing Donaire being imported tomato cans from Argentina. Than seeing Donaire beating imported tomato cans from Argentina. I agree with you, Bigaback. Obviously, you're agreeing with me that he doesn't have the it factor, because I have said that he doesn't have the it factor a lot. But I don't mind watching him fight. Not like my man Jake Evans here says that he doesn't even like watching him fight. I like watching Andre Ward fight. I just think that he's a good guy. I mean, he's a good role model. He's kind of what we want in our champions. Unfortunately, he's with a promoter that doesn't get his name out there. I mean, think about it. Think about Andre Ward. Andre Ward is an Olympian. He's undefeated. He's fought some tough opposition. I mean, this guy should be being mentioned in the same breaths as far as known commodities as, the more popular fighters. I'm not saying talent level, but guys like Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather and Miguel Cotto and names that most people know and heard of. Everyone should know who Andre Ward is, but they don't. And that's not. I mean, I'm sure some of it has to do with him lacking that it factor, but most of it has to do with a lack of promotion. Lack of promotion. Hawk says, I think Alvarez versus Kirkland is a good fight. When Kirkland beat Angulo, the James Kirkland fanboys were saying that James Kirkland would mop the floor with Saul Alvarez, and Saul Alvarez needs to step up and fight him. I think Kirkland clearly lost his last fights, so which James Kirkland will show up? I would have rather watched Paul Williams fight Alvarez, but Kirkland is a good replacement. By the way, best wishes on Paul Williams' recovery. He says, it's funny to me about the amount of hate Arum gets when I think Golden Boy is more corrupt. I was a big fan of De La Hoya as a boxer. I think most people loved Oscar as a boxer, and I think when all is said and done, we can't knock him as a fighter. He never avoided anyone. He fought the big fights. He was a huge draw. And I also agree with Hawk about Golden Boy and the corruption. I had said as soon as they announced the Kirkland fight that James Kirkland that I thought Golden Boy was rushing him from the injury. Now there's some changes with that. We're going to get to that a little later on the show. I got some news. I got a really sickening thing about Floyd Mayweather and his jail sentence. That's coming up a little later. We also got an update with Paul Williams coming up a little later, and all of that stuff. And I also have from Hawk. Now Hawk was being criticized by some of the other listeners about his where he got his information about Manny Pacquiao's guaranteed purse and all of this stuff. And I honestly hadn't seen where the numbers came from, but I got an update on that. So we're gonna pat my man Hawk on the back in about 2 minutes.
Are you ready, America? Then let's get it on with Fight Now TV. It's time, fight fans. Your channel has arrived. All the fights, all the names, all the action. From world-class boxing events to mixed martial arts showdowns and other combat sports matchups, Fight Now TV delivers the hits and more. Call your television provider and tell them you want to get it on with Fight Now TV. For more details, go to fightnow.com.
Broadcasting in all corners of the globe, on the web and radio.
He would scoff at a stretcher, that man, I would think.
You're listening to Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. From upstate New York in the good old US of A.
Boxing is here to stay because we are here to stay.
The best 2 hours of boxing talk on the airwaves.
Hey, fight fans, check out KOFantasyBoxing.com. KO Fantasy Boxing is boxing's only trademarked fantasy game. Check it out, www.KOFantasyBoxing.com. Select your own gym, your own fighters, track them through a season that can last from 3 months to a year, depending upon which league you join. You got to check this out, man, www.KOFantasyBoxing.com. Join it today. Again, www.KOFantasyBoxing.com. And tell him Billy C sent ya.
Now back to Talkin' Boxing with Billy C, the only radio host man enough to take a punch from Mike Tyson.
Wait a minute, man. Hold on there. Jeremy, man, I need you to take this one, all right?
Wait, what? No way. I can't do this.
Need I remind you I'm Billy C, damn it? Now put on that mustache and get in there.
Hey, look at me. I'm Billy C. Crap.
The undisputed heavyweight champion of Boxing Talk Radio. It's Talkin' Boxing with Billy C.
Test 1 2. Test 1 2. My fellow Americans, good evening. Welcome back to Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. It's great to be here discussing the sweet science with everybody. I love boxing. I love talking boxing. It's what I do.
Bill.
Wait, what?
Bill.
Why are you interrupting?
Yeah,
Wait, what?
Wrong.
What's the problem?
Billy, C.
I did not have...
We're gonna have to ask
wrong speech. What do you mean wrong, Billy C? What's going on here? Fine, I'll go. I just wanted to talk some boxing on TPSradio.net. That's all I wanted to do. I don't need your damn show. I'll get my own talking wrestling with the other Billy C. Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, I've always been a Hulkamaniac anyway.
Broadcasting live, brother. Welcome back to Talking Boxing with Billy C. on the mighty TPSradio.net, brother. What you gonna do, brother?
And we're back. You're listening to the Talking Boxing with Billy C, a radio show. You're watching us on the Fight Now television channel. I want to welcome the Fight Now audience just joining us. And speaking of Fight Now, don't forget Manny Pacquiao, Timothy Bradley post-fight show exclusively on Fight Now with yours truly. Make sure you tune in immediately following the show. The Pacquiao Bradley event. Immediately following that, tune into Fight Now TV. And if you don't have Fight Now on your sports channel lineup, well, you know, now after the Pacquiao fight, you're going to want to watch this post-fight show that we do. So now's a good time to call your local television provider and tell them you want to Fight Now right now. It's that simple, man. Pick up the phone no matter what you got, whether you got satellite dish or they have cable, call them and tell them you want the Fight Now channel added to your sports channel lineup. For all the info on the channel, visit their website, www.fightnow.com. Jake Evans wants us, with all this Larry Holmes talk and everything, he wants us to do a top 20 all-time great heavyweight list. Wants to know what mine is. I tell you what, why don't we do this? I like that idea. I have an all-time top 25 list, but not just heavyweights, but let's do one, man. I tell you what, why don't you guys take some time and submit to me who you think is the top 20 all-time great heavyweights. Submit yours, and I will, put them together like we do at the end of the year, and we'll come up with the, the average of what all the listeners' all-time top 20 heavyweights are, and then I'll give you mine. How about that? Email them to me, Billy@TalkinBoxing. That's TalkinBoxing.com. Who's your all-time top 20 heavyweight? Who's your all-time great top 20 heavyweights? Who are they? Give me your list. Everybody's eligible. Give me your list. Send them to me. Billy@TalkinBoxing. TalkinBoxing.com. Let's do it this week, and next week we'll present who the average for all you guys are, the listeners, and then I'll give you mine. We'll see where we stack up, all right? Good deal. We'll put this Larry Holmes BS to rest once and for all. So I want to see Bigger back first. I want his list first, man. Billy@TalkinBoxing, TalkinBoxing.com. Who's your all-time heavyweight top 20 list? All-time great heavyweight top 20 list. My man Hawk, last week he said that he had heard that Pacquiao was guaranteed $26 million. Now, according to some other sources, Nevada said he was only getting 8 or something like that. He never got more than 10, and people were joking around that he was only going to get 6, and people were joking around saying, that's what Bob Arum says and everything else. Well, here's where he got it, and he's able to back it up. Okay, now, my man Hawk, all he's doing here is saying that it was published someplace, and it happens to be a reputable place. And the bottom line is he was just, forwarding some information. And here it is, Look at David Allen. He's cutting on me because I'm Italian. As usual, the guy's always picking on me. Why's everybody always picking on me? Manny Pacquiao gets $26 million guaranteed in the Bradley fight. Was posted and available as of May 26th on abs-cbnnews.com. That's abs-cbnnews.com. Check it out. And my man Hawk is right. They are saying that, according to Bob Arum, which is, kind of along the same lines, he says Manny Pacquiao will make $26 million for his upcoming June 9th fight against Timothy Bradley. And he says this was his reaction to reports that Pacquiao was only getting $6 million for the fight. He said, and I quote, this is Bob Arum, and he says, and I quote, Manny Pacquiao is guaranteed $26 million, said Bob Arum. The Ring TV, which is the Ring magazine website, which, come on, man, is it even worthwhile going there? But nonetheless, they are the ones that started the $6 million rumor about Timothy Bradley. I mean, Manny Pacquiao only making $6 million against Timothy Bradley fight. That's my problem with them. That's my problem with some of these websites. And they claim that was only $1 million higher than Bradley's purse, which is guaranteed $5 million. Now that's been put out all over the place. So, and that was Bob Arum laughing at that. Keith Kaiser says, obviously Manny's going to get more than $6 million with his cut of foreign television and everything else. So who knows? Who knows? But the bottom line is Hawk was just, hey, you know what? Hawk did the right thing by backing up his comments with some documentation. So, my man Alex T says, I tell you what, man, I turned on ESPN Friday. This was Friday night. He said, I turned on ESPN Friday night, expecting to see Friday night fights, and they had a spelling bee. No one would pick up Frach Butte, but instead ESPN is showing a spelling bee. What a joke. I think it was actually a history bee, and it was a sports history bee. But nonetheless, Alex, I agree with you, my man. You know, that's why we gave ESPN a thumbs down last week. What a joke they are. And I'll tell you what, I have a feeling that NBC Sports is going to take over and give us a regular Friday night fight series for real. My only hang-up with NBC Sports Network is them, blatantly copying. Listen, I've been critical of Teddy Atlas many, many times, but you know what? You got to give Teddy credit for certain things. Teddy is entertaining, and his little, when him and Saul do their little points, keys to victory or whatever they call it, where he shows them, he's got to go to the body, he's got to do it. I mean, it looks the same every single week, but nonetheless, that was Teddy's little thing, right? They blatantly tried to copy that with putting stupid BJ Flores with a pair of gloves on, and they're doing that on NBC Sports. Get your own identity. All I'm going to say to NBC Sports is, listen, you got a great opportunity here, man. You got a great opportunity to take over a regular Friday night fight series. ESPN clearly dropped the ball. They clearly don't put boxing in any kind of their status for boxing is so low that you got to really search deep on their website just to find boxing. So I personally think they're going to bail on it soon, and I think NBC Sports Network would have a great opportunity of putting a regular Friday night fight series on. But all I suggest to NBC Sports is, man, create your own identity. Don't be copying off of ESPN. It makes no sense. I don't dislike BJ Flores as a commentator. I think he does a great job. And the other guy they have is not too bad. I love Freddie Roach, and I think that he's a knowledgeable guy, and I like hearing his comments and stuff. But unfortunately, and I don't want to sound vicious, but unfortunately, with him battling his illness, it just on television it doesn't come off right, and to me, it seems that NBC Sports Network is putting him out there to try and get the notoriety of his name and the way people know him, and I don't know if that's in good taste, in my opinion. That's just my opinion, but anyway, and finally, I got an email from James Keister, and Keister says, first of all, I'm a new premium subscriber. After listening to the Thumbs Up, Thumbs Down show for several weeks, it's a great show, man. Hey, thanks, man. I'm glad James drank the Kool-Aid, and you should be drinking that Kool-Aid too. Premium subscriptions are where it's at. He says, anyway, regarding the finale of Showtime's 4-bout slugfest, I thought it was incredibly low class for Coyote to even suggest that because Tarver announces for Showtime, that Showtime somehow rigged the outcome. True, Tarver gave up a bunch of early rounds, but he dominated the last half of the fight, making it a close fight. A draw wasn't a goofy result, and to blame the network is tacky and sour grapes. And then he says, P.S., Vegas, in his opinion, the capital of boxing. If I'm going to move anywhere, it should be there. Better make sure you vote, James. Go up there and vote, because that vote is those numbers and those statistics are important to where we end up. So go cast your vote if you haven't done it already. And I want to thank you for two things. One, becoming a premium subscriber, because I think that was a smart move for you, James. And number two, for your email. And I agree with your comments about Latif Coyote kind of being punkish with his post-fight comments, but so was Tarver. I thought Tarver was punkish too, man. Did you catch during that fight that towards the end of the round, Buddy McGirt was in the corner saying to him, "Man, you're losing this fight, and you gotta come out there with everything. Give it your all, throw more punches, blah blah blah." And Tarver looks at him. He says, and he looked at him and he goes, "You think I'm losing, man? You think I'm losing? If you think that, you're not part of this team no more." And basically, What does he want? He wants them to tell him. What makes a good trainer? And I'm not saying, obviously, Buddy McGirt isn't. He's the co-trainer, but who's running the show? You see, that's the kind of stuff that I feel would happen with Mayweather if push came to shove. The truth of the matter is you hire your corner. If you just want a guy to give you the water to sip on, and you just want a yes man, so be it. Go find yourself one. But if you're looking for a quality corner, you got to listen to what they say. They're seeing something different than you may be in the ring. And as far as him, I thought that Antonio Tarver was saying some punk stuff too. That fight, you know what? The draw part of it doesn't bother me. It really doesn't. It just like James said, and just like most people believe, Tarver gave up the first half of that fight. There's no question about it. His game plan was to do that. He was hoping to catch Latif Coyote later on. He tried. To me, Latif Coyote is just a wild guy. He's not accurate at all. But he had to be getting points for scoring the body shots and everything else. His aggression was clearly evident in the first half of the fight. But, Antonio Tarver, listen, neither one of them did much. Neither one of them should be bragging. But Antonio Tarver, to talk about, he wants to fight one of the major title holders in the cruiserweight division and then move up to heavyweight. Come on, man. Antonio Tarver is basically saying that he's going to be sticking around for a long time. Like they mentioned on the broadcast, he averages in the last whatever it was, the last 4 or 5 years, one fight a year. So what are you saying? You're going to fight another cruiserweight fight? Okay, so now you're 44. Then you're going to fight a heavyweight fight. Okay, now you're 45. You already fought one. He looked awful in it. Then what's he going to do? Fight one more time at heavyweight? He's got to fight once at heavyweight. Then what's he going to do? Try and get a fight with a Klitschko? So you're 46 years old? Come on, man. Come on. He looked terrible. Listen, I think he was overrated from day one. And he's not getting any better, He's not getting any better. He obviously can't do full 12 rounds of action. And he was clearly waiting and conserving energy through that fight. No problem. I mean, there's no problem understanding that. He was clearly conserving energy in that fight. But you don't give up the first half of the fight. And yeah, he won the second half of the fight. So what's he complaining about? The fight was a draw. Latif Coyote, what are you complaining about? What are you blaming Showtime? How many times did he say HBO on Showtime? The only thing worse than that is looking at Jim Gray's face, in my opinion. I can't stand that guy. Let's talk about the fight results from the weekend. I got lots of other news I got to get to. Friday night, in a fight that I thought was kind of strange, to be honest with you. Gabriel Rosado against Shu Pao. Now, excuse me, this fight, first of all, I think Shu Pao is one of the most overrated fighters out there. Really. I do. He's got one of the least talented corners in the sport. That Andre, whatever the hell his name is, Rozier or something like that. Come on, man. That guy, does he even know anything about boxing? They get their fighters in a position to get into a big fight, but they never win. Now, with that said, Pal was doing okay. Gabriel Rosado wasn't, or Gabriel Rosado. Gabrielle is the female version of it, but Gabriel Rosado was not fighting the same fight that he fought against Jesus Soto Carras. He wasn't aggressive. And one of the things I didn't like about Rosado is him fighting with his hands down. Why are fighters doing that? That's why when they interviewed Larry Holmes, I started softening up on Larry because Larry was right. Larry was right, man. They're not teaching these kids today the fundamental of a jab and how and why a jab sets up everything else. He says that to come at you with a right hand followed by a left hook. That's the new, left jab lead. You throw a left jab a couple of times, you double, triple up a jab, then you come back with the right and follow that with a left hook. Now, you got, a couple of jabs and it goes from a 2-punch combination to a 5-punch combination, and it's more effective. Larry's right. And then you see these defensive fighters. The one thing I'm going to say about Powell, and here I was being critical of his corner, but the one thing I will say, technically, it looked like he was a sound fighter. His hands were always up protecting himself. And Rosado was in there with his hands down. Now, with all that said, Rosado came out on top, scoring a 9th round knockout over Powell. Powell was dropped after Rosado just started unleashing a devastating attack to him. But the round before too, where I was surprised that Powell stayed on his feet. But I was even more surprised that Steve Smoger, what do you got to do to have him, at least, first of all, Powell, the ropes were keeping him up. I mean, he literally was holding on to the ropes to stay up, and Smoger's right there. I love Steve Smoger. I think he's probably one of the best referees out there right now. But what do you got to do, man, to get him to stop a fight? I know he gives the fighters all the chances in the world, but at some point he could have just said, and given him an 8. Now, I'm not saying a standing 8 count because I know that's they don't use that as much. They don't use that at all anymore. At least it's not part of the ABC boxing rules. But when the rope is preventing you from hitting the deck, usually they at least give you the count. And I thought that the ropes were clearly keeping Powell off his butt because and Steve was right there and didn't do it. But nonetheless, the official time was 2 minutes and 43 seconds of the 9th round. Gabriel Rosado improves to 20 wins, 5 losses, 11 coming by knockout, and Powell drops to 26-5 with 15 knockouts. And Rosado, man, his last couple of fights have been pretty impressive. On the undercard, which was actually a fight that had more fan involvement, Ronald Cruz improved to 17-0 with 12 knockouts when he won a 12-round decision over Prentice Brewer, who drops to 16-2 with a draw with 6 knockouts. I don't know if you caught this, but all 3 judges scored it the same, 118 to 110, which was a justified decision. But I don't know if you caught this fight. But at the end, Brewer was shocked that he didn't win. He so much so that he fell on all fours, dropped down to his knees, and he's got his head down, and he's on the canvas. Like in his mind, he thought he won that fight. I mean, even after the fight, he was running around with his hands up. I suggest if you're listening, Mr. Brewer, go back and watch the tape because you can't win fights when you don't throw punches. You can't freaking win fights if you're not throwing punches. End of story. Also on that card, I'll give you some other results. Sergey Kovalev improved to 18 wins, no losses, and a draw with 15 knockouts when he stopped Darnell Boone in the second round, 1 minute and 32 seconds of the second round. Boone drops to 19 wins, 19 losses, 3 draws, 8 coming by knockout. Now, this followed up their first fight that was almost 2 years ago, where Kovalev had a split decision win over Boone. Also on that card, Anthony Irons won a 6-round decision over Rafael Montalvo. Eric Newell had a 4-round draw with Tyrab Beal in the heavyweight division, and Dramon Rodriguez had a 4-round draw with Hassan Young in the junior welterweight division. So some other fights that took place on the undercard. Other fights from Friday night, Hollywood Bennett, that's Chad Hollywood Bennett, improved to 29 wins, 4 losses, and 3 draws, with 20 of his wins coming by knockout. Stopped James Arma, who dropped to 17-2 with 7 knockouts in the 8th round. It was 50 seconds of the 8th round when the referee stopped that one in Australia. Light heavyweight Dennis the Assassin Hassan improved to 14-0 with 5 knockouts when he won a decision over George Armenta, who dropped to 14-9 with 14-9 with 11 knockouts. The way the judges saw it was 78-74, and 2 had it at 79-73. In Puerto Rico, junior flyweight Israel Vasquez improved to 6-0 with a couple of draws. Now, he's the other son of Wilfredo Vasquez and the brother of the former super bantamweight champ Wilfredo Vasquez Jr. The way the scores went was 58-56. All 3 judges saw him win over Miguel Del Valle, who drops to 8 wins and 17 losses. I say 17 losses Friday night. Now, Saturday night's all right. No. Saturday night was all right for fighting. We had 4 fights coming at us on Showtime. Plus, they had the Showtime Extreme. They showed the undercard. Antonio Tarver against Latif Coyote, a draw. Antonio Tarver retains his belt. Here's my thoughts on that fight. First of all, I wasn't impressed with either one of them. Antonio Tarver never impressed me as a fighter, ever. All right. Now, he does impress me as a commentator. So I don't know why he's even wasting his time. I'll tell you the truth. Now, Coyote is supposed to be a big power puncher, right? First of all, Coyote doesn't even land his punches solid. Freddie Roach is supposed to be a great trainer. How long has he been with Coyote? At least 10 fights, right? Maybe 8. I don't even know anymore. But he's been. I mean, Coyote now is got 19 fights under his belt, right? So I'm pretty sure that Freddie Roach has been with him for at least 8 or 9 fights. Freddie Roach can't teach this guy how to nail his opponent flush. I mean, are we going to give Tarver all the defensive credit for this fight? I mean, yes, he moved just subtle enough to avoid a solid shot. Yes, he had pretty good defense Saturday night. I'm talking about Tarver. But, geez, Latif, man, he's just like lightning. Never hits the same spot twice, man. I mean, this guy, I'm talking about being raw. I mean, this guy's, beef tartare or whatever. I mean, he's raw, man. I mean, it's sad to see a guy who's ranked, and we actually had to move him up in our rankings, which will be posted tomorrow. But we had to move him up because both of these guys fighting each other, they were both in the top 10. Coyote had just cracked the top 10, and then Tarver, with his lackluster performance, fighting in the corner, rolling his eyes, in his mind, he won every single round. You see, Tarver's delusional. He thinks he's way better than he is. And he never was that good. Plus, he's 43 years old. The decision is not a robbery. Both of these fighters were crying robbery. Both of them should have shut the F up because I think the fight was a draw. I mean, it was clearly a draw. My man, Dave Moretti, who was the judge that scored it a draw, who ultimately made the decision to have it a split decision draw, because the other 2 judges, one had it for Tarver, one had it for Coyote, both with the same score, 115-113, which I wouldn't have argued with either way. But the most realistic outcome was a draw. It really was. You could right off the top of your head say, well, the first 6 rounds went to Coyote, the second 6 rounds went to Tarver. 6 rounds plus 6 rounds equals 114, man. So and Tarver to say, oh, he ran, he didn't want to fight. Come on, man. He didn't run. Coyote didn't run. He just couldn't hit. He just couldn't throw punches. And those shots that Tarver were landing that seemed to stun Coyote, they didn't stun him. They just knocked him off balance, and he went back. I don't think he was hurt at all in that fight. The announcers made it every time he landed a flush punch and went backwards. The announcers made it seem like he was in serious trouble. He was never in serious trouble. But then again, neither was Tarver. Where's all the power from Coyote, man? All this power that Coyote is supposed to have wasn't there Saturday night. And I will say this. You know, there's the broadcast definitely missed Tarver on the other side of the ropes, man. You know, so Tarver, I think, does way better as a ringside analyst than he does as a fighter. You know, and with that said, we got the second consecutive show that I thought Gus Johnson did a good job. You know, I was critical of him in that first fight. I know for a fact that they heeded what we were saying. I know for a fact. You know, he came back in the last fight and did a good job. You know, and then in this fight last night or Saturday night, he did a good job. He wasn't crazy. You know, he got crazy a couple of times, but it was justified. And Al Bernstein, well, you know, he's old reliable. He's the best. And the only weak part of that is that a-hole. Yeah, Jim Gray.
Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. now has official merchandise available on TalkinBoxing.com. T-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, and mugs. And yes, even undergarments. Talkin' Boxing apparel is the perfect gift for the boxing fan in your life. Log on to www.talkinboxing.com. That's TalkinBoxing.com and place your order today.
Join us here for 2 hours as Billy and the gang do what they do best.
Every time I start talking about boxing, a white man got to pull Rocky Marciano out their ass. Rocky Marciano was good, but compared to Joe Louis, Rocky Marciano ain't.
You beat Joe Louis's ass.
Joe Louis was 75 years old when he fought him.
Huh?
What?
We're supposed to be talking boxing.
It's Talking Boxing with Billy C.
As Billy C. sits here in the multi-million-dollar Talkin' Boxing Studios, sipping a fine wine before you're even out of bed, you should be thinking, damn, I wish I had a mustache like his. It's the Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. show. He's Billy C., and you're not. Sucks to be you.
Now let's dig into our archives and hear a rare interview when Billy C. first became the champion of boxing talk radio. Hello, Billy C. As the new champ, can we ask you a few questions?
Why, certainly.
Okay, your fans would like to know how you and your corner have successfully walloped the competition.
We're not ordinary people. We're morons.
Anything else?
I'm a victim of circumstance.
Did your success finally come when you made the show 5 days a week for 2 hours? What do you think?
I'm trying to think, but nothing happens.
Now, please tell the listeners what you've learned from making it this far.
Certainly. If at first you don't succeed, keep on sucking till you do succeed.
Great words of wisdom, Billy C. Keep up the great work as the undisputed People's Champion with your show, Talkin' Boxing with Billy C. Any last words to anyone who's listening?
This is your fault, you bonehead.
And we're back. You are listening to the Talking Box with Billy C. Radio Show. You're watching us on the Fight Now television channel. And if you don't have Fight Now on your sports channel lineup, what the hell are you waiting for, man? Call your local television provider right now and tell them you want Fight Now. Right now. It's that simple. Don't forget, every night is Fight Night on Fight Now, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. We always show a new fight, so check it out, www.fightnow.com for the latest listing. Ali, come on, man. That's David Allen's all-time. He's going to send me his list, too. He better. Email me, who's your all-time great top 20 heavyweights? Who's your all-time great top 20 heavyweights? Or maybe I should say, who's your top 20 heavyweights of all time? Yeah. Email me your list, Billy at TalkinBoxing, TalkinBoxing. We're going to, take all those and tell you guys what the average top 20 for you listeners are, and then I'm going to give you mine. He's got Muhammad Ali as numero uno. So, hey, good. We're talking about the fights that took place. We're up to Saturday's fights, and then I got a bunch of news and some other stuff I want to talk about. But, Tarver, Coyote to get a draw. Both acted like idiots after the fight, crying and whining and stomping their feeties. But in the middleweight division, Peter Quinlan won a 10-round unanimous decision over Winky Wright. The way the judges scored that one was 98-91 twice and 97-92. I don't know about you, but I thought Winky Wright did a lot better than I thought he would. I thought Winky Wright put on a good performance. And, I thought that the announcers were a little off on that one. And I don't mean by anything other than... And the only reason, like, I was talking to Dax Khan yesterday, and we were talking about this fight, and, I just... I wasn't ringside, so it's hard for me to be that critical, but I didn't think that Peter Quinlan, Kid Chocolate, was doing anything fantastic. They were making him seem like he was just destroying Winky Wright, that he was, just head and shoulders above him. And with the exception of the knockdown and that one round where he had him in some trouble, what did he do? He took a lot of shots. He took some shots that were flush. So I don't know, man. Winky Wright clearly lost the fight, but I didn't think it was Quinlan's coming out party. But nonetheless, Quinlan improves to 27 wins, no losses, 20 coming by knockout. And Winky Wright, he drops to 51 wins, 6 losses, and a draw with 25 knockouts. The guy Winky Wright hadn't fought in almost 4 years, well over 3 years. More towards 4 years than towards 3 years, okay? This was his first fight. Now, here's the funny part. He hadn't been officially retired. He hadn't been officially retired until Sunday, because Sunday, after he gave it some thought, and you could tell when they showed his wife and his kid, does his son look exactly like him or what? I don't recall ever seeing a shot of his son, or maybe because his son's getting a little older now, but they showed you a ringside shot of his daughter, who looks just like the mother, and his wife, of course, and then a shot of his son, who looked, with the exception of Winky Wright having a mustache, he looked just like Winky Wright. To me, he looked exactly like Winky Wright. David Allen says, tell me one heavyweight that would cope with the speed of Ali. He's got Muhammad Ali as his number one all-time great heavyweight. One heavyweight that would be able to cope with the speed of Ali? Well, you know what? I say this, you really believe that Muhammad Ali beat Sonny Liston? You think Sonny Liston really came to fight? You think Muhammad Ali would have actually lasted with a guy like Rocky Marciano? You think Muhammad Ali would have beaten a great like Jack Johnson? Come on, man. Come on. Listen, I know he's a feel-good story now and everything, but Ali, he couldn't even beat Jimmy Young. Jimmy Young, in my opinion, beat him. Joe Frazier, who had all the heart in the world, and he beat him. So I listen, man. I like Ali. He's definitely in my top. He's in the top, but Ali was too big for us. Come on, man. Well, I suppose he was too big for Dempsey too, right? Come on, David Allen knows his stuff. And I'm just shocked that he's saying it. Somebody must have. I don't even think that's David Allen. It can't be. I'm shocked. I mean, here's a guy who was ringside for John L. Sullivan's fight, against Jake Kilrain, and he's talking about this. Come on, man. Come on. Saturday night on Showtime in the junior middleweight division, Austin Trout won a 12-round unanimous decision over Delvin Rodriguez. The way the judges scored it was 117, 111, 118, 110, 116, 112. I don't know who, that must have been Delvin Rodriguez's brother who was scoring that one, and made a successful defense of his, WBA junior middleweight title. He improves to 25-0 with 14 knockouts, and Delvin Rodriguez dropped to 26 wins, 6 losses, and 3 draws with 14 knockouts. Now, the first fighter that I ever was involved in as a manager was Finelli Felice. We did fight for a world title, and Finelli Felice happens to be Delvin Rodriguez's trainer right now. I forgot about that until I saw him. I'm like, there's Finelli. Oh, he looks a little heavy, but anyway, all I can say about that fight is this: the hell was Delvin thinking? He fought that fight. No way the way he should have. Dax and I were talking about it yesterday, and we're like, man, here's a guy that's getting his opportunity of a lifetime. Why didn't he just go balls to the wall and fight like he fought Paulie Warlock? Now, granted, Austin Trout wasn't standing in front of him, but, it's not like Trout had a big size advantage. Delvin Rodriguez did not fight a smart fight. He gave that fight away. I don't even think it was, 118-110 was about the way it could be. 120 I'm sorry, 116-112 was not an official score. 120-108 was the way it was. I read it wrong, but 120-108. Realistically, I think that was kind of close. I don't think it was. I don't think it was a close fight. I don't think it was a close fight at all. I think Trout, not that he looked great, but Delvin messed up. I'll tell you who did look great was Leo Santa Cruz. He won a 12-round unanimous decision over Vusi Malinga. Did this kid ever run out of gas? Did he ever look like he was going to get tired in that fight? I mean, I thought he was going to slow down a bit, but nay, he kept it up for 12 rounds. The way the judges scored it was the way I scored it, shutout, 120-108. Twice, and one judge had it. They gave Malinga a courtesy round, 119-109. He's Santa Cruz now is 20 wins, no losses, and a draw with 11 knockouts. And Malinga, he drops to 20 wins and 4 losses, with 12 of his wins coming by knockout. In the untelevised, at least non-Showtime Extreme, Seiko Bika knocked out Daya Davis in the 10th round. It was the last round of their scheduled 10-rounder. And now Bika, every time he gets a win, the next fight's like some kind of title shot. So he got a win on Saturday. So it looks like he's going to be fighting somebody that's got a belt. I bet you anything. He improves to 30 wins and 5 losses, a couple of draws. 21 of his wins come by knockout. And Daya Davis, who's the son of Howard Davis Jr., drops to 21 wins, 3 losses, and a draw with only 9 knockouts. Sharif Boguary knocked out Manuel Levea. Levea is no killer, but it was a pretty good step up for Boguary, who has been, he's been in with the right people where he's at. I still just think he's a little short for his division. He's going to have to start stepping it up now. He's undefeated, 23-0 now, with 15 knockouts, and Levea dropped to 21-6 and 12 knockouts. In the junior welterweight division, Omar Figueroa stopped Tyler Ziglakowski in the first round of a scheduled 6-rounder. He improves to 17-0 with a draw, and Ziglakowski drops to 14-16. And Juan Reynoso made his pro debut with a 4-round decision over Bo Hamilton in the night's opening fight, 40-36 twice and 39-37. And Bo Hamilton drops to 0 wins and 2 losses. The most shocking result of the weekend had to be former world lightweight champion, now fighting at junior middleweight, Acilio Papo Freitas, improved to 39-2 when he manhandled, and I do mean manhandled, previously unbeaten Michael the Brazilian Rocky Oliveira, who drops to 17-1 with 12 knockouts. And speaking of knockouts, Freitas knocked Oliveira out at 2 minutes and 9 seconds of the 9th round. Now, I don't know if you saw it, but it was the second knockdown of the fight. And I want to give a shout-out to my man Thomas Triber, who was actually doing the ring announcing in wherever they did that fight. Wasn't it wasn't it in Brazil? I think it was in Brazil or Uganda or someplace far away. So, attaboy Thomas Triber. But nonetheless, he had retired Oliveira retired for 5 years. Now, here's a guy that, was up for Hall of Fame. Now, I'm not saying he would have gotten in. I mean, there's no reason why he shouldn't have. But here he was pretty close to being up for a Hall of Fame ballot, and he decides to make a comeback and knocks out Oliveira. Now, here's the impressive part. He wasn't huffing and puffing by the 9th round, and when he knocked him out, Oliveira laid down. When that fight finally was stopped, at 2 minutes and 9 seconds of round 9, he was laying there. He was knocked out. I mean, it wasn't like a quick stoppage or something like that. I mean, it was a clear knockout, so congratulations to Acilio Freitas for knocking out, former undefeated Michael Oliveira. Very, very impressive. 36 years old. So we'll be seeing him again, right? Obviously he set himself up for some money. Shumanov retained his WBA world light heavyweight belt and improved to 13 wins and a loss with 8 knockouts when he won a 12-round unanimous decision over Enrique Ornelas, who dropped to 33 wins, 8 losses, and 21 knockouts. It was the main event at the Hard Rock in Las Vegas. All 3 scores were 120 to 108. Check out our man Tony Treem. Wrote up, he was ringside for that, covering the fight for us, and he did his ringside report, so you can check that out up on BillyCBoxing.com for all the other results on that one. Rocky Juarez. Time to call it a day, Rock. Time to call it a day. Prospect Andrew Cancio improved to 14 wins, 1 loss, and 2 draws when he, too, beat former Olympic silver medalist in the 2000 Olympics, Rocky Juarez, who drops to 28 wins, 10 losses, and a draw with 20 knockouts, 97-90 twice, 98-89. Rocky has lost his last 6 fights in a row. Can someone pull the plug for him, please, and tell him it's his time has come and gone? And then young junior middleweight Hugo the Boss Centineo improved to 14-0 with 8 knockouts when he stopped Rakhman Yusubov in the 4th round at 2 minutes and 39 seconds. Yusubov drops to 8-8 with 6 knockouts. Lenny Zapavinga, ranked in the top 10 by some organizations, improved to 27 wins, 2 losses, with 18 of his wins coming by knockout when he won a decision over Joel De La Cruz in over 12 rounds in Australia. De La Cruz drops to 17 wins, 14 losses, and 2 draws. How about straw weight or minimum weight, whatever you want to call it? He's got the WBO belt. Moses Fuentes, he improved to 15-1 with 7 knockouts when he destroyed Julio Cesar Feliz in the very first round. Feliz drops to 17-4 with 7 knockouts. It was a title fight, and Fuentes retained his WBO belt. It was official time was 2 minutes and 16 seconds of that, and after the fight, he said that he wants to fight Ivan Calderon. So we'll see what happens with that. Also on that card, super bantamweight Daniel Rojas improved to 14-0 with a draw when he took a 10-round decision over Enrique Bernacchi, who dropped to 19-4. The way the scores were 95-94 twice, and one judge had it at 97-95. In Denmark, we had unbeaten light heavyweight Luke Blackledge improved to 10-0 with 4 knockouts when he clearly upset, because most people were picking former European champion Mads Larsen in this one, but he upset Mads Larsen when he stopped him at 1 minute and 20 seconds of the 4th round, and Mads Larsen drops to 51 wins, 4 losses, 38 coming by knockout. So we'll see if that finally ends his career. Mads Larson shouldn't have come back. Also on that card in the co-main event, Cecilia Brækhus, who holds the WBA, WBC, and WBO welterweight titles, who refuses to give Chevelle Halbach a rematch. The Cecilia Brækhus is a joke because she fights these lesser quality opponents like Jessica Balagun, who didn't even belong in the same ring with either Halbach or Brækhus or Holly Holm or Anne-Sophie Mathis, none of them. And that's the kind of fighters Brækhus fights. Whenever she was in a fight with Halbach in Denmark and got beaten up severely, we was robbed in that fight, and she doesn't even have the you-know-whats to give Chevy a rematch. But nonetheless, she won on Saturday night. The way the judges scored it was 97-93 twice and 99-92 to help Brækhus improve to 20-0 with only 5 knockouts. She's got no punch. She's got no pop. Good-looking female fighter. There's no question about that. But she certainly she's just looking for a payday and does not fight the best out there. That's for sure. Ahmed Babyface Candor, he won a majority decision over Gary Bolden after 8 rounds. The way the judges scored it was 76-76 and 78-74 and 79-73, both for Candor. And 76-76 was obviously a draw, but it was a majority decision for Candor. Rita Rita Zamzam got his third victory since he's made his comeback when he stopped Giuseppe Languila in the third round. Zamzam improves to 26 wins and a loss, 13 knockouts. And what happened was it wasn't a devastating punch or anything like that. Langella, it's Langella, not Gila. Langella injured his leg and wasn't able to continue, so that's why he got the TKO win. A couple of young fighters on that card. Torben Keller, he fought Luca Arrigio to a draw to improve to or to fall to 4-0-1, and Agurio is 2-1-2 now. Swedish prospect Eric Sokoland improved to 11-0 with 6 knockouts when he stopped Faroud Nazari in the second round. It was 42 seconds to be exact. And former top contender, who's I guess still ranked by some of the sanctioned bodies, Caro Marat, was stopped Sandro Simprofacili, who dropped to 25 wins and 13 losses in the 7th round. It was 2 minutes and 21 seconds to be exact. So that was a fight that took place in Denmark. Also, some other action in South Africa. Simpuwi Kanko won an upset of sorts when he beat Bongani Mufunsai in the 7th round, stopping him to win the vacant South African junior flyweight title. So we'll see what that takes him. And in the Japanese, how do I say that? A Japanese belt was won when Akira Shibata, who improved to 18 wins, 7 losses, and a draw, won the Japanese junior middleweight title against Dazuki Nakawaga in an upset. Clearly, Nakawaga loses for only the 3rd time in his career, 19 wins and 3 losses with a couple of draws. Nakawaga was the belt holder. It was unanimous decision, 96-95, 96-94, 98-93 was the way all of the judges saw it for the fight that took place in Tokyo, Japan on Saturday night. And one last fight I'm going to give you the result on. We had Brian Rose had a real tough time to win a decision over Chris Carslaw in his second defense of his British junior middleweight title. It took place in Manchester. This is a guy now, Rose, who feels that his last couple of fights were not good, and he's decided to take some time off to try and regroup and see what the hell's going on. The way the judges scored this one was 115, 114, 116, 113, 118, 112, which was kind of a joke score. But Rose's record now is 20 wins, a loss, and a draw, with 5 of his wins coming by knockout. So that pretty much wraps up the action that took place over the weekend. And speaking of action, don't forget about joining or at least participating in Gleason's fantasy boxing camp, which is scheduled in August. Check out our website. Get over to Gleason's website by going to ours, www.BillyCBoxing.com, and click the Gleason's Gym banner. What we want to do is we want to follow you. If you sign up for the boxing fantasy camp, we want to do stories about you and get you some audio and video footage and follow your whole experience for the 4 days at the camp. You can call Gleason's directly by dialing the phone number 718-797-2872, 718-797-2872. Tell them Billy C sent you and you want a Billy C discount on the fantasy boxing camp price. You can get all the information by visiting the website. We have a link right on BillyCBoxing.com. Makes it easy for you. They'll send you a brochure, all the information. Hurry up. We want to do that. Once you sign up, email us, and we'll get back to you. Like I said in the beginning of the show, we are doing an event July 20th at the Whitehall Athletic Club in Whitehall, New York. Check out their website, www.whitehallathletic.com. What a great facility that is. It was an old armory that was converted into an athletic club. They got it all: boating, fishing, camping, golf course, swimming. You can. They got a firing range, indoor and outdoor firing ranges, which is really cool. They have a gym. They have pools. They have basketball courts, in and outdoor. Great place. Check it out. Whitehall Athletic Club. It would be great to have you join that. Tell them Billy C sent you to get a huge discount there. The food is great in that place. They have a couple of bars. Really nice place. And we're going to have a boxing event there July 20th. So, this whole thing with the, BBB of C and Frank Warren, all concerning the Chisora fight and everything else. Well, the last couple of days, some stuff has happened. Now the European Boxing Union has suspended the Luxembourg Boxing Federation from the European Boxing Union because of their, support of sanctioning the David Haye and Derek Chisora fight, which is ridiculous, in my opinion. Meanwhile, the day before that happened, the BBB of C had, made a threat basically to anyone that was involved with this event, that they would immediately terminate their license to perform under the guidance of the BBBSC. Well, they made an official statement the other day saying that they're not going to automatically terminate you, but you will be forced to go before the board. And Frank Warren came back with a statement about that, and basically was saying it was a joke. And then he came up after the EBU suspended the Luxembourg Boxing Commission. Frank Warren came out with a statement, and I'm going to read it because let me read it first, and I'll give you my thoughts. It says, it comes to as no surprise that the EBU has taken steps to remove the Luxembourg Federation. As the chairman and the president of the British Boxing Board of Controls, Charles Giles, is also the vice president of the EBU. In addition, he's the vice chairman. In addition to being the vice chairman of the EBU, he's also the vice president of the WBC. And it will be expected that the WBC will disassociate itself with the Luxembourg Boxing Federation. Giles took the trouble to go to the EBU meeting held in Belgium on a long weekend, yet he would not take the time to give evidence at Derek Chisora's hearing at the BBBSC head office in Cardiff. He was in the very same building, and despite Derek's barrister request, which is a lawyer, to give evidence, he left out the back door. The EBU vote is not a fair reflection of the actual nations that voted on this matter, as the BBBSC has a far larger vote on the EBU decisions than any other country because it represents more boxers than any other country. That said, the vote was cast without any consultation of the British license holders that they were not there to represent. It may well be that the Federation takes steps against the EBU. Its lawyers have already written to the BBBSC to raise a complaint and looking into the options. Basically, he says both Luxembourg and the BBBSC are also affiliated with the WBA and the WBO organizations, which have sanctioned the Hay and Chisora fight because it's for the international and intercontinental heavyweight titles. The show is also going to feature WBA heavyweight champ Alexander Povetkin against former champion Hasim Rahman. Now, the funny thing about that is I could have sworn that they said no, that they were moving that. I thought that I thought Sauerland said that they were not going to do this. I guess that changed. But here's the best part. So far, they sold 28. According to Frank Warren, they've sold 28,000 tickets for this fight. Listen, this has become a political thing, and it's always been a political thing. But the funny thing about it is, this is a case, in my opinion, where you have these organizations, commissions, if you will, sanctioning bodies, if you will, that are trying to put a stranglehold and try and control the sport, where I don't think they should, man. I really don't think they should, and I'm giving. I think Frank Warren is doing a good thing by holding strong, staying on his course. The bottom line is we want to see the fight. Who doesn't want to see David Haye against Derek Chisora? And if you're going to suspend Derek Chisora for life for his actions at the post-fight conference between Chisora and Klitschko for the incident that happened between Chisora and David Haye. David Haye instigated it. There's no question about that. You're going to suspend him for life. Yes, they shouldn't have done it. It was out of control. But you know what? How come Klitschko's are being left out of this? They could have controlled it. They should have kept. Nobody should have let David Haye, the stupid toe maker Haye. Nobody should have let him even in that press conference. He had no business being there. I know he was covering the fight for somebody. He had a credential and everything else. But listen, make no mistake. Who the hell are they to try and prevent it? See, that's one of my hang-ups here in the States. The boxing commission sometimes over-commission. And, your hands are tied and you can't put on, events, or you can't put on a specific fight for stupid reasons. And it all boils down to, a guy being involved in 3 major sanctioning bodies as either the president, the chairman, vice president. Come on, man. If you don't think that's a conflict of interest, I don't know what the hell is.
Talking Boxing with Billy C. Every week, 2 hours of the best boxing talk on the radio.
Mike Tyson looked like he put on some pounds. He was fat. He went into McDonald's and he just said to them, hey, give me 6 of everything on the menu. He put on 2 watches and covered 2 time zones. I'm talking fat here. Got on a scale the other day and it said, come on, one of you guys got to get off. Last thing I heard is that he jumped into the ocean and he left a ring around the continent. He's fat.
Boxing
with Billy C.
Now back to Talking Boxing with Billy C. He may not have an Excellence in Broadcasting award, but the night's still young.
And he's got martinis.
So you never know what may be by morning. It's Talking Boxing with Billy C.
Talking Boxing with Billy C.
The one, the only, Don King.
Makes me feel good, Billy, to have you, the number 1 show in the country, Talking Boxing with Billy. So I invite each and every American that's listening to this great show to tune in, because we want you to be there with Billy and me.
St. Jimmy's coming down across the alleyway, up on the boulevard like a zip gun on parade. Lights on the silhouette, he's just a buttonette, coming at you on the count of 1.
And we're back. You are listening to Talking Boxing with Billy C. radio show. You're watching us on the Fight Now television channel. Don't forget, immediately following the Manny Pacquiao-Timothy Bradley fight on Saturday night, tune in to Fight Now and check out our post-fight show. We're going to be covering what took place and be discussing all of that stuff. As usual, we'll have some guests, ringside guests that are there, in Las Vegas as well as some of our regular contributors. So, bunch of news I wanted to get to real quick right now. It was reported that the surgery, because they finally had the surgery on former champ Paul Williams, and according to his spokespeople, everything went well. So congratulations to Paul Williams. He still says he's going to be walking again. The doctors said that everything that they had hoped for definitely came to pass. So Paul Williams' surgery, everything went great, and everybody's got a real positive outlook on him and his future, at least to be able to stand and possibly walk again. I think the realization of him never fighting again might be sinking in with him right now. So, well, it was confirmed over the weekend that former super bantamweight champion Wilfredo Vasquez Jr., who's sitting on a 21-win, 2-loss, and a draw record with 18 knockouts, will be fighting in August, on August 4th, against Rafael Marquez. That's right, Juan Manuel's brother, who's sitting on a record of 41 wins, 7 losses, and 37 knockouts. Nice fight, man. I've always liked Marquez. There's no question about that. I've always liked him, and obviously, you think of Rafael Marquez. What immediately pops in your mind, right? Israel Vasquez. That's right. So Marquez likes to fight the Vasquezes, and even though there's no relation, he's taking on Wilfredo Vasquez Jr. Vasquez Jr., he surprised a lot of us with his career and has had some success. So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, Floyd Mayweather, he started his jail cell. He turned himself in on Friday, went into jail. I was happy, and I am happy that he went into jail. And I don't like Floyd, the person, but that's not why I was happy. The reason why I was happy is because I can't stand when celebrities of sort or people with a lot of money, don't have to basically pay for their crimes. And I'm glad that Floyd is in jail. Now, I don't think he's going to serve the 87 days that he's supposed to. I think they're going to let him out in less than 30. It's just that if you or I did the same things that he's done, we would have been in the slammer long before he was. And that's my point. That's what irks me, a guy with the money. Let's face it, do you think the judge would have postponed your original jail date just because you were going to fight and make some money? Come on, man. Come on. What really gets my goat on this jail thing with Floyd is that, number one, he's not even going to be with the general population in jail. They're going to keep him. They're going to keep him in a private cell. Now, I don't know if that's better or worse, to be honest with you. I really don't. Because if he was with the general population, I don't think they're trying to protect him. I don't think the general population would hurt him. And I don't think he's such a badass that he would clean up anybody that tries. I'm sure a lot of people in the Clark County Detention Center could beat the snot out of Floyd Mayweather in a regular old jail brawl. Not boxing, of course, but in a regular old jail brawl. But that's not why they're keeping him. I think they're keeping him from it because maybe they recognize that he would be treated like a god in there by the other inmates and stuff. But that's not even what gets my goat. According to our very own Tony Treem, who spoke with Floyd Mayweather Sr., did you know that Floyd isn't even going to be forced to eat the prison food? Talk about special treatment. Floyd Mayweather Sr. told Tony Treem that Leonard Ellaby, that ass-kissing wannabe SOB, the guy that's so far up Floyd's butt that, I can't say. But anyway, did you know that Ellaby is going to be bringing Floyd his 3 meals of food per day? He's not even eating the jail food. Come on, man. Do you think you're going to get a shot? Do you think that you would get a chance at bringing in your own food if you had to do any time? I don't care if you did 24 hours. You think you'd get a chance to bring in your own food? And, oh, by the way, they gave him full access to the commissary. He put in as much money as he wanted so he can have all the... So whatever luxuries he's going to get, he's going to get. I just don't think it's fair. And I think that's what bothers me. I know people got mad at me for being happy that he went to jail, but that's the reason. Listen, I'm with Floyd when it comes to cops. I can't stand cops. I can't. I would take Floyd's side over a cop. But the bottom line is this. Do your time and shut up. Why does he got to do special time? Now, when he gets out, I guarantee he's going to be referring when I was in prison. Guaranteed. You're hearing it here first. He's going to refer to this as, prison time. And he's going to glorify his time behind bars. You watch. And speaking about jail time, how about Evander Holyfield? It was reported that from TMZ. Now, TMZ. They got cameras. I think they have one. I think Mike Tyson's eyes behind me right here is actually a TMZ camera. But they're reporting that he very well may be in the slammer himself. Why? Because he owes $300,000 in child support. Oh, my God. $300,000 for one of his kids. I think he's got like 152 kids or something, but one of his kids, almost $400. $372,000, almost 300, and it was a little more than $372,000. And apparently the Georgia Department of Human Services is taking. They're sick of the games that Evander's been playing, and now they have went to the judge and said, we want to garnish Holyfield's wages and or stick him in jail until he pays. And apparently a representative for Evander Holyfield said, huh? I don't know anything about that. Evander's daughter and him have a great relationship. So I don't know. She's 18 years old. Her name is Amani Holyfield. And I don't know. Obviously, the child support money would not be going to... I don't know. Does it go directly to her? First of all, she's 18, so now he doesn't have to do it, right? He doesn't have to support her anymore. So it's obviously from money going all the way back till 2010 when she was not 18, when she was 16 years old. But, geez, 2 years, how much does she get? That's a lot of money, So is it the wife that's trying to get the money? Can Amani show... bills for $300,000. That's a lot, but Holyfield possibly going to jail. The only thing that irks me about that is that Evander Holyfield always tried to make everybody think that he's a God-fearing, great guy, and here he's got all these kids from all these different women, and doesn't pay his bills. Remember, I don't know. James Kirkland, remember, it was announced that he was fighting Saul Alvarez since Paul Williams got hurt. Well, guess what? He's not. He's pulling out of the fight. Now, when this story first broke, I was pissed at Golden Boy because, number one, it was clear that James Kirkland was informed by his doctors that he could not, fight until he couldn't even resume training until the end of September. And here, this fight is scheduled for September 15th, and all of a sudden he feels great. He can fight, and Golden Boy seemed to be putting some pressure on Kirkland to take the Saul Alvarez fight. Then, within 24 hours, he pulls out of the fight. And rumor has it that it was not over the shoulder. He said that he wanted more money, and then they said no. So then he said, my shoulder hurts. But he also says that if he got, he was being paid $1 million. He apparently he agreed, according to Golden Boy, he agreed to $1 million. And now, according to different sources, that he's got some people in his ear telling him that he should not accept less than $2.5 million, and the bottom line is that's why his shoulder hurts again, and he's pulled out of the fight. He wants more money. On one hand, you say to yourself, well, Kirkland might know that his career is over. Maybe the shoulder's injured more. Maybe he knows he's not the same. I know from reliable sources that he got all kinds of upfront money prior to his last fight against Molina, and spent it all on partying. He was out partying and stuff. Did not train. I believe those rumors because I look at his performance and I see a guy that clearly was not 100% ready for that fight. He gets out with a decision. I thought that Golden Boy was trying to cash out on him, which is kind of a smart business move. If I were them, I would consider it too. It seems that Kirkland, can't keep his butt out of trouble. He was in jail. We all know the jail story and everything else. Now, he went to jail. That wasn't a Floyd Mayweather thing. Kirkland didn't get any special treatment. So how does a Kirkland feel about a Floyd Mayweather getting all that special treatment, right? But anyway, so now he's saying that his shoulder would feel a lot better if he got $2.7 million, $2.5 million, and he was offered $1 million. Here's the thing: maybe Kirkland, is understanding that his days are numbered, and maybe he's trying to get as much money as he can. So on one hand, I don't blame him for that, and on one hand, I blame Golden Boy for seemingly to rush him back to the ring when initially the doctors had said that he shouldn't fight until the end of September. So I could see blaming each of them a little bit, but the bottom line is when you sign a contract. Now I don't know if he signed it or not. I don't know if it was ever signed, sealed, and delivered. I don't know if he just verbally agreed or what. But when you sign a contract, you guys know how I feel about that. If you sign on a dotted line, that's why you sign it. You're signing because you're agreeing to it. So now, as far as Saul Alvarez, they're talking about several other fighters that they want. The funny thing about it is, they're talking. You have Cameron Duncan, who's involved with Kirkland. Is supposed to be his advisor, but according to him, now he's got a buddy of his, Curtis Meeks, who was a fighter at one time. He's retired, I guess now. He fought 12 professional fights in his career, back in the early 2000s. He's got a record of 9 wins, a loss, and a couple of draws with 3 knockouts. His career ran from 2001, and his last fight was in 2008. And this guy, Meeks, according to, Cameron Duncan, is advising James Kirkland to take not to take the fight unless he gets $2.5 million. Well, here's the sad news: is that James Kirkland needs money bad. $1 million is a pretty decent purse in boxing. To go from 1 million to 2.5 million, is kind of ridiculous. The truth of the matter is if your arm is injured, don't fight at all, right? And that's what Cameron Duncan is saying. If your arm isn't injured and you can fight, maybe the point of negotiation was prior to agreeing to it. If somebody offers you $1 million, you say, well, I was looking for 2. And then, we'll give you 1.5. Well, give me 1 3/4 or whatever. That's how you negotiate. You don't agree to a price, to a purse in this case, and then all of a sudden somebody says, and you okay, yeah, no, I want 2.5 million. So there's like 3 sides to this story. There's Kirkland's, there's Golden Boys, and then there's probably the truth. So the bottom line is James Kirkland, as of now, is not fighting Saul Alvarez. Now, they do have some other names that they're talking about. One is Carlos Quintana. He recently knocked out DeAndre Lattimore. They're looking at him. Urslandi Lara, which you heard one of our viewers or listeners email us at the beginning of the show. I read his email, and he wants that fight. Urslandi Lara is a guy that may very well deserve the fight because many people think that he beat Paul Williams and got robbed in Atlantic City. As a matter of fact, I don't know I don't know if it was the first or the only, but the New Jersey State Athletic Commission suspended all 3 judges because it was such a poor decision after they reviewed the tape a few times. So, I think I would like to see Erslandy Lara too. But the guy, I guess, that's a front runner is Austin Trout after his fight against Delvin Rodriguez. The name that everyone really wanted to see Saul Alvarez fight was Miguel Cotto. And, that would actually be a pretty big fight, considering it's a Mexican holiday, and we all know that, there's a great, competition between the Mexican and Puerto Rican fighters. That would I'm sure sell very, very well. But according to Richard Schaefer, he says, I know for a fact that Cotto, there's just no way he's going to be fighting in September when we want this fight. So who knows? I bet you if they call Miguel and they offer him enough money, his schedule opens up. But right now they're talking about Austin Trout, I think, is the front runner. Erslandy Lara is a Golden Boy promoted fighter. But the other name that they do mention just in conversation is Martirosyan, Vanis Martirosyan. But if you recall, he's a top-ranked fighter, so that's not going to happen. But anyway, well, it's finally here. This week, we got the Manny Pacquiao and Timothy Bradley fight. On that card also, we have Jorge Arce. I can't wait to see him fight. I love that kid. You know that. I love watching him fight. I'm just glad he doesn't keep the lollipop in during the fights. But, Manny Pacquiao against Timothy Bradley. Friday night, would you believe that ESPN is actually putting on a fight Friday night? Man, it's called Friday Night Fights, but, Kelly Pavlik against Scott Sigmund. What a joke. What a joke fight. What a joke. Yeah, Dave Murphy's in the chat room saying, well, Lara's a dangerous choice for Saul Alvarez. Yeah, you know what? Let's see how good Alvarez is. And you know what? You know how I always say about Dan Goosen, I have a tendency to bash Dan Goosen a little bit, and, the other promoters, Gary Shaw and some Star Biden, and some of these DeBella, some of these guys that just don't invest money to introduce us to their fighters, to get their fighters' names out there. You want to see, you want to see proof in the pudding about promoters that invest money into their fighters and have it work. I don't know if you saw the fight on Saturday between, if you saw the Showtime card, the Tarver Coyote fight. When Saul Alvarez walked into the arena, he basically got a cheer it was almost like a standing ovation, And, that you have to give, whether you like Golden Boy or not, whether you like their promotional company or not, you got to give them kudos for doing it, because that's a result of them getting this kid's name out there. Now, we all know that he's popular in Mexico, but we weren't in Mexico. We were in California. For him to get that kind of a response from and recognition from the crowd really goes to show you that, Golden Boy does their job, man. A promoter is supposed to promote. You're supposed to get the name of your fighters out there. And I think he did a really good job. I think they do a really good job, and Top Rank does. There's no one that comes close to them after those two. After Top Rank, after Golden Boy, who promotes their fighters better than those two? No one. And that's why all the other guys, all of the DeBellas, all of the Goosens, all of the Stars, all of the Birchfields, all of the Shaws, all of those other promoters, their big goal is to land a fight with one of those guys' fighters. And then they get the co-promotion thing or in association with. Anyway, I don't disagree with that, Murph. Murph says there's a certain number of Hispanic fans that will buy Canelo on a pay-per-view without even worrying about who he fights. That's correct. And that was the case with Mike Tyson as well. And that's the case with anyone that has a big fan base. They don't care who he fights. Floyd Mayweather's that way. You don't have to like Floyd. to know that the guy sells. People buy his stuff whether they like him or whether they hate him. They're buying Floyd stuff to see him win or to see him lose. You know, in Canelo's case, I think most people buy it to see him win, but Murphy's 100% right. You know, but it all started with a good promotional team. You know, so you know, and I agree with that too. He says, why fight a guy like Lyra when you can fight a second-tier guy and win and make the same money? He's right. You know, and that's the unfortunate thing about our sport. You know, if there was one sanctioning body, if there was one belt, if there were only 10 contenders in each weight class, you would see better fights because they would be forced. There would be mandatory fights against quality opposition. But anyway, Friday night we got the Pavlik Scott Sigmund fight, which is a total joke. Of course, the big weekend, the big fights on pay-per-view: Manny Pacquiao against Timothy Bradley, Jorge Arce against Jesus Rojas, Mike Jones against Randall Bailey. You know, if Randall Bailey could, you know, fight a little better in terms of setting up a jab, and if he had just a little more hand speed, he would be virtually unbeatable because his punching power is freakish. So all he's got to do is land a punch. So, I mean, you could be beating the snot out of Randall Bailey all night long, and he lands one punch, and you're going to wake up the next day, and you're going to be like, what round is it? And you're like, round? It's over, man. It's Tuesday, you know. But unfortunately, Randall's been around too long, and he's probably not going to be able to be too competitive with Jones. And then another fight, Guillermo Rigondeaux against Tion Kennedy. Now, Rigondeaux is obviously a big favorite, but Tion Kennedy is not exactly a layup. You know, he's not a layup. Also this weekend, we have Julio Cesar Chavez promotional company, Chavez Jr. Promotions, is kicking off their inaugural card. It's going to be in Mexico, Sinaloa, Mexico this weekend. So keep your eyes peeled for that one. And also we have in Montreal. They call him the Storm, Mr. Alvarez, Elder Storm Alvarez, who's only got 8 pro fights under his belt. He's 8-0 with 5 knockouts. Is making the first defense of his NABO light heavyweight title against Sean Hawk. He's 23 wins and a loss with 19 knockouts. That's happening this weekend. And we also have the Arroyo twins, Mick Williams and Mick Joe Arroyo. They'll both be fighting this weekend as well. So we got a pretty good weekend of good fights coming our way. And don't forget, we also have the International Boxing Hall of Fame going on this weekend too. If you're going to go up there, come on up and see me. I'm going to be hanging around the Sausage and Pepper tent on Friday, anywheres between 1 and 2 o'clock. I should get there, and I'll be there until they got to roll my fat ass out of there. So stop by and see us. And if you miss me there, we're going to be over in the card show on Saturday morning at the Canastota High School. I'm going to be sharing a table with Clay Moyle, who's going to have his book. He's probably going to have the Langford book too, but he's going to be promoting his new book on Billy Miskey. We're going to be giving some information away about the show and our Hall of Fame and all that stuff happening on Saturday. And then I want you to tune into the Fight Now channel and watch our post-fight show, which will immediately follow the Manny Pacquiao-Timothy Bradley fight on Saturday night. All of that's happening this weekend. We got a busy weekend, but what's happening right now is...
Wake up. It's time for the...
It's too early for a trivia question.
Now, today's It's Too Early for a Trivia Question is being sponsored by the Whitehall Athletic Club. Check them out, www.whitehallathleticclub.com. Make sure you get tickets now. Get them early because it's not a huge venue. Get it early. Get your seats now. Visit the Whitehall Athletic Club. We will be doing a live professional show on July 20th there, and it's going to be a great card, action-packed. It's going to be a webcast for free, the way webcast should be. But we'd love to have you there. As a matter of fact, if you plan on attending, bring the family up. Lake George is a great area for family fun. Even if the whole family doesn't go to the event, I recommend that they do. But if not, you got all kinds of stuff going on in Lake George. You could have a great time and kick it off with a great night of fights at the Whitehall Athletic Club. So check out their website, www.whitehallathleticclub.com. All right, what's on the line for this tough question is a copy of the Title Bout Championship computer game. If you're looking for information about that game, visit our website, www.BillyCBoxing.com, and on the left-hand side, you'll see a banner ad that says Title Bout. Click it, it'll give you the whole scoop on the game. It's worth about $40. So if you get this answer right, you got that. And no, wait, there's more, because if you get this right, if you're the first one, I'm going to give away one of those collector Rocky Marciano phone cards, which was put out in the 90s, showing the Rocky Marciano and Jersey Joe Walcott fight, the famous disfiguring punch that ended it all for Jersey Joe that night, who was actually winning that fight, hands down. So you get both of these prizes if you knew who fought in the most fights from 1950 to 1959. Who fought in the most fights from 1950 through 1959? If you know the answer, email me, Billy@TalkinBoxing. That's TALKIN, and then BOXING.com. Who fought in the most fights from 1950 to 1959? If you're the first one to get it correct, you're going to get those two great prizes. Email me, Billy@TalkinBoxing, TALKIN, BOXING.com.
This day in boxing history.
And finally, this day in boxing history is being sponsored by Campanaro and Tomkovich. If you're looking for a lawyer, use the ones that keep my ass out of trouble. That's Campanaro and Tomkovich. Give them a call today, 845-221-4099. That's 845-221-4099. Let Campanaro and Tomkovich knock out your legal problem. 845-221-4099. On this day, June 4th, in 1986, Buster Drayton wins a 15-round decision over Carlos Santos to win the IBF World Junior Middleweight title, and that took place on this day, June 4th, in 1986, in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Hey, man, that concludes our show for today. Don't forget about the thumbs up, thumbs down show immediately following this one. But I do have one more thing to say. I got to remind you one thing. Make sure you tune in tomorrow morning, same bat time, same bat channel. There's only one channel, the Fight Now channel. Call your local television provider right now and tell them you want the Fight Now channel added to your sports channel lineup. It's that simple. For all the information about the channel, visit their website, www.fightnow.com. See you all tomorrow. Ciao, baby.